Hello and welcome to Agile World. Hello, Karl. How's it going?
That's great, Sabrina. How are you doing?
I'm good. What is a hot topic for Agile World at the moment?
Oh, loads of different things. I think it would be nice to get some outcomes.
Outcome? Anything else? Anything that we're trying to maybe shift?
You're talking about the framework. Yes, the
Yes.
framework has consumed 6 months of my time, and I'm hoping that people will find benefit from being customer-centric in their Agile. We'll see.
We time? Agile World time? We've got a very special call today. We've got a really, really special guest. We haven't had this guest on for a while. Who have we got? Hello.
He's gone now.
Someone got a framework.
Today, how are you?
Take you 6 months to do the framework, Karl. I hope you weren't billing anyone during that time.
No. It's just totally focused on doing something useful.
Remember, it's all outside work. It's always out of hours work for our passion, for our Agile World.
Yeah. Anyway, great to hear you. I want to hear more about the framework. So anyone who knows the musical Hamilton, one of my favorite songs is just like towards the end when it's all flagging a little bit. Jefferson comes in, hip hoppy style, and says, "What have I missed?" He's been in France, so yeah.
Well, you were on the first 2 episodes of Agile World, and we kind of salute you because it was your idea for me and Sabrina to do a video together. Although we tried to put it off for a few weeks because we weren't really up for it.
I remember. I am the matchmaker here. Yeah. So I've been off in France doing stuff. What have I missed?
Just loads. It all went kaboom, didn't it?
Yeah, we got up to 10 languages in Agile World, and someone asked us why we didn't just translate our show, and basically we said the main issue here is always context and culture. So actually communicating Agile ideas is really contextual and highly cultural. So actually we wouldn't be the right people to talk into South America or to talk into parts of Europe or talk into Africa or Asia. So we've had people from those areas doing the shows, which is really exciting.
We've got the charity.
Yes.
A charity. So
yeah.
So you're not doing London calling at the top of the dial, right? You've got some real great distribution. How many people have you got around the? Let's do that bit before we do the charity. How many people have you got around? So how many watches do you get? What are the big names in your network?
Oh, I don't know about the big names because we're kind of anti the big names, but what we're pro is the people that do the work. We're really interested in everyday heroes rather than sort of VIPs.
Across around 80 something platforms, we've got well over 100,000 followers. It's more than that, actually. It's growing. Each year we've peaked and peaked and peaked, so it's actually grown. And we've actually grown on our platforms to make sure that we're providing a space that anyone can get to. So we're actually giving them the content. You don't have to search for it. So obviously there's other countries that can't access the content that we would in the UK. So we're making sure we're providing it. So we've got, and we know what Karl is. Karl just loves a good, platform, product, social media. The only one we've never been able to sort out is TikTok, hopefully coming soon. But we've had a bit of a problem on TikTok. But yeah.
That'll be the Chinese market then.
Well, we'll see where that comes. But yeah.
We do have a 10-cent account. But it's trying to work it all out because it's all in Chinese, so that's a bit more difficult. So
won a couple of awards. It's just, what?
Tell me about the words. Go on.
Which ones is it that we should?
Well, you won the top 100 female business people in Los Angeles in that grouping for your work with Agile World because it's a charity. We actually got into the top 5% of Spotify educational content providers. Woo! So, and I think that's really, that's not down to me and Sabrina, that's down to everyone that's participated because we are just focused on providing useful content to people. It's not about propagating a message, it's about learning and sharing knowledge. So.
we've hit all our milestones and vision goals for last year. This year, mine and Karl's personal for Agile World's focus is mainly on growing the charity side and the framework. So we're not recording as much. We're only doing special recordings. So
right,
we're not.
You're a special case.
We're a special case. Not as much recordings, but I think overall, our main blessing and the bits that we're so grateful of is everyone that contributes to Agile World, because that's the whole reason why we do it.
Yeah.
And is actually working with us. Originally, everything that we've done has all been an experiment, and we've all experimented, and we've crashed and burned and enjoyed the crash and burn areas, but we've also succeeded in a lot of areas. But the whole point of it is to help others, advertise and help others, and then bring good quality education in a way from the people on the ground, like all three of us and others, where we're on the ground doing the do and getting that knowledge out. And that's the bit I love mostly about Agile World, is everybody that's part of it, everyone that contributes to it, and what we're able to do. And the fact that we keep growing still amazes me to this day, because I never thought it would be as big as it is.
I'm pretty sure I had a conversation with Karl about that. I think we knew how big this would get.
Well, I still to this day can't believe, like, there's been a couple, it's been actually quite frequently recently that I've had people actually walk past me and go, hang a minute, aren't you on Agile World? I'm like,
can you get me an autograph, Sabrina?
You're from somewhere, aren't you on Agile World? And it's more about the fact of, I apologize and say, do I owe you an hour back or something like that? I mean, and it, do you know what? It's, I'm shy about the fact that people see me. I hope that when my friends and family and people who know me and people who meet first time, at least they see the same person on camera as the same. But that's one thing me and Karl have always kind of expressed. You don't see anything different. Yeah. But also I hope that it's been of value. So it is quite nice when someone comes up to you and they recognize the brand and recognize what it is. I'm just still very shy of the fact that they've watched it. I'll never get, that's the type of person I am. So yeah.
So just a quick question, the charity. I don't think I know that much about the charity. Tell me what's the charity's aims, how you doing it, what's your activity?
So the charity is set up with a clear vision to provide educational materials to people regardless of their location, their language, or their access to technology. Now that's a much harder one. We are signed up to the UN treaties around supporting humanity and human rights. It's all part of, to be a proper charity, you need to go through all the documentation at the right level. We are under review by a number of different external bodies to maintain our status. And we were also granted so in the US, your status as a charity is not given to you by a charitable oversight organization, it's given to you by the Inland Revenue Service. So the US Inland Revenue Services have granted us charitable status, which means that when someone gives us money, they get a tax deduction for doing so. We haven't really gone down that way. A lot of the time, most of the time we're focused on doing stuff rather than facilitating finances, as Sabrina and I basically fund all of it at the moment, which we're happy to do because it's an outpouring from our amazing benefits that we gain for living in the West and getting paid a very good salary. Or Sabrina is, me, I'm currently working on all the charity stuff, but it's essential though that we see it as an outpouring of benefit rather than something that we feel we have to do. We're not doing it because we have to, we're doing it because we see a need that we think the charity can answer. So there's the two parts of the vision are, that's the overarching. We've got two things we're working on. One is to create initiatives that help people to adopt Agile, not as a software delivery mechanism, but a way of living and working and thinking, because Agile is way more, if you delve into it, than actually to do the software. And then the second thing is to build communities of practice and activities around that to enable people to, like the Agile20Reflect, share ideas from lots of different cultures.
And we're doing that while working in the day as well as in the evening, the same as everyone else in the Agile World. And that's the bit we appreciate it. We've also got a lot of other things in the pipeline. So there's loads more to come from Agile World. We're not stopping. We're like bulldozers. We're not giving up, we're not stopping. And we're enjoying the ride, even though we've had moments where we're both, I mean, I'm very blessed. I got to say this, Karl is absolutely amazing. There's been ups and downs, and we've all got families and personal lives and everything like that. And, you know, I'm very blessed to have the relationship I have with Karl. He's true family member. So, but there's the stresses we have always come out with the absolute blisses. So,
well, we've had a fantastic chance to speak now. How about you, Scott?
yeah,
What have you been up to?
Firstly,
yeah,
I'm gonna get this QR code for starters. So everyone that's watching this, you need to do this because it does work. Get onto that QR code. Thank you very much. Go for it.
Let me tell you a little bit what I'm up to. So after the festival, I went back to working. And as I started working, we ended up with like 22 consultants, and I was flat out working for a very large pharma company. And at the beginning of this year, I had the opportunity to take a step back from that and think, what would I like to do? And I remembered the festival and all the good stuff we did and all the outreach and things. And the day that I resigned was the day that I got an offer to go to Africa to work. And I thought, well, okay, that's a little bit of an inspired decision. I've already decided I want to get back more into the community side of things. I want to get back more into doing the stuff we did in the festival. But at the same time, I wanted to do something around about sustainability. Because last year when I was at Nashville 2022, there was a big presentation with Lisa Atkins and Joe Stone and Jutta Eckstein, and they were talking around about the planetary challenges. And then after that, I did a couple more events and talked at a few more events and started studying climate change. And yeah, basically, I've kind of moved from, I've kind of moved to a point where I want us to use business agility to try and help the world and help sustainability, like you guys are doing, but in much more of a direct way. So setting up Being Beyond Better, there's a partnerships bits there that's a for-profit. Hopefully the for-profit will pay for the not-for-profit. And the for-profits, out and about, and it's really looking at things to do with sustainability and ESG and allowing companies to actually, profitably, move towards the new technologies, profitably do things that, help them actually achieve better ratings under a lot of the new regimes and the regulations that are coming out. Whilst I was doing that in Uganda, I was on TripAdvisor. And on TripAdvisor, there was a kind of social innovation museum, and I read about it, and I thought this would be a nice place to go. So headed in a car with a couple of people, and we headed out to the hills. Now, you got to understand, there were women in flip-flops with a baby on their back walking faster than the car was going, right? Yeah. We eventually get out to the hills, and we're heading up into the hills, and this looks like we're heading up top of a mountain, okay? The road's getting kind of more broken down. At one point I thought we might need to get like a 4x4. And then I thought, what if this place doesn't exist now? Because you know how a lot of places don't exist post-lockdown.
Yeah.
And we get up there and there's a kind of like an old gate post. There's a big fence around it. There's an old gate post there. There's a sign up, and the sign says, all the football matches with the locals are cancelled. I can't remember the exact wording. It's almost like till the situation's resolved or something. And and we drive into the park, and I got quite excited, so we left quite early in the morning. So we're getting there about 10 o'clock. I don't think they were expecting anyone to turn up. We get at the door, they're looking at the driver and me, and they're all like, it's like pretty nervous,
What's going on?
Like, what have I got into, and then, so we kind of arrive. Then after a little bit of a while, this young woman, kind of just past her being a student, I found her name was Confidence. She comes up and she's kind of looking at me like this, and it's like, what are these guys for? And I said, yeah, we're here to see the social innovation stuff. And she went, what do you want to know? And she looked like this. She went, what do you want to know? And I went, oh, just your mission, your vision, and that. We've come up from Kampala, I love the kind of things that you said you were doing. And then she just completely opened up. Yeah, okay, great. So what we're about is we're running several social businesses. We've got a couple of charities here. Got one, like the Susubu Women Foundation. And And this was Saturday, and she said, you come and see what we're doing. So the first thing I noticed was there's a little kind of tuck shop, and it's like a community shop, and they run it themselves. So it's all very kind of social. And then she said, there's a circle runs the shop. And I went, a circle? And she went, yeah. I said, you're using your holacracy. And they went, yeah, we're a holacracy. All the different circles run different bits. And I'm like, wow. So for those of you who know, like the kind of agile kind of, bit, this idea of on the top of a hill at the back end of the world to find a place that's actually running on like some agile organizational methods, and a little bit like the stuff we did in the festival was kind of completely amazing. We went down to the big hut, and the big hut's made out of mud and bottles. So
Really?
bottles, cola bottles. So, right, and we go in there, and it's a church on Sunday, but there's a sign on the wall. So confidence says, look, have a look at the sign on the wall. So we're looking at the sign on the wall, and she said, what we do is we set up this charity to help kids that have reached the age where they would go back on the street. So they're kind of orphans and things. And we train them, or vulnerable, we train them to help have businesses. So the first stage is we get them together to ideate. And then after that, we'll do some business tests. We'll take those tests out, we'll do customer tests. And I'm like watching this going like, okay, I'm in a mud hut made of bottles on top of a hill with a road that I didn't think I would get to the end of, and now someone's explaining Agile to me.
Wow.
And then they do tests, and then they scale it if it works. And this is called the Social Innovation Academy. And if you have a look on the website, they've got several. They've done 156 projects.
Wow.
So a lot of them, and then we saw some of the projects. So one of them was growing insect larvae for protein for pigs. Because pigs need protein. If you can actually do it from insects, it's actually better from a lot of reasons. Huge hall there where people build different things, and one guy had set up a ice cream kind of thing. And it's this idea that in the middle of a very chaotic country like Uganda, where there's very little social safety net, on top of a hill, this is this amazing place. We met some women who were making bags. Actually, I got one. Here's one. Here's one I made earlier. So they're making these bags out of old t-shirts. So they get old t-shirts and they make the bags. And then they sell the bags, and they sell the bags for money. And my heart nearly broke when I was talking to the organizer, which just said that money makes a difference between their families eating or not. Yeah, we talk about us being highly paid and everything else. I bought all their bags. I'm going to give them funding as well. Just for what they do. But they were so thankful and grateful. And there was one of the women talking in the local language, more or less kind of give me like this beautiful word she said to me, and that was translated by one of the organizers. And just the fact that they're supporting these kind of groups and these marginalized people is amazing. What the organizer there said, we want to get the women to do ICT training, hopefully. And I went, well, why hopefully? And then she said, because of the robbery. I was like, oh, okay. And then a little bit later, we went into the ICT hut. And what happened was, I think the locals had came and robbed all the IT.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So there's a big hall, no IT in it. And that was why, hopefully. So they're kind of hopeful to do something. At that point, I said, look, the Agile community are going to fund this. Because you just get that, we know what we had in the festival. We know how much stuff. I said, pull together a bit of a list. We can get replacement laptops and things. We can replace the IT. I said, the other thing is think about all the costs, including security, because you don't want it stolen again, and insurance, and why don't we put some solar plant in? Again, I'm into my sustainability. So let's set this up so it's kind of completely not using any fossil fuels or that. So I spoke to Confidence about this, and she looked at me like she did the first thing. She's like, this man is crazy. He's lying. He's, why did this strange man suddenly turn up today and said he'd replace all our IT? And then we spoke to some of the elders there, and they were also looking at me as if I was stealing something. It was really funny. The founder is a German guy called Etienne Salbon, and he actually was back in Germany, and he was back in Germany because his wife and daughter had malaria. So there's still a big issue out there, malaria.
Yeah.
And again, I called him up and I said, yeah, we're legit. We'll do this. We'll raise some money. We'll make it a bit of a core for everything we're doing. And he was just like the happiest German I've ever seen. He was like smiling so much. It's difficult to get laptops into the country. It's expensive to buy laptops out there. Some of the ones that you do buy are not what's on the box. So yeah, and the Neil Ogilvy's gonna head up a bit of a thing, and we've got a meetup coming up. So if you go to the Access Agile meetup, there's a meetup in there that's going to be, and we're going to have a chat with them and everything that they told me about what they do, what they can tell, and we've got Bob Gallen's coming along, and we've got Scott Ambler coming along, and we've got Juta and others. So there's quite a few for the Agile community going along. And then a few festivals picked this up. So Lean Agile London, they had a fundraising. I think they've raised about 1,500 towards it. And Lean Agile Scotland is getting on board as well. And we're just going to open this up until we kind of hit the target. And that's what that's why kind of part of the reason I'm here is to tell you that, if you donate here, you'll get brought to the web page where you can see the target and you can donate and you can leave a message of encouragement. I think part of this is they were feeling pretty isolated on top of a hill in the middle of nowhere. And the fact that the rest of the world post-COVID actually does care about them, is an amazing shot in the arm.
Well, I mean, if you give us the QR code, we'll put it on all of our sites. I mean, we're quite happy to promote it. We'll probably have an offline conversation, but the big tech companies give old hardware away. To charities, so we can talk about how you might be able to get access to that.
And I don't want to give any spoilers, but I think there's at least 2 governments want to help as well, because this is just seen as such, educating young people that are starting businesses and educating vulnerable women in Africa is just such a core thing. So that's what I've been up to. Launching my own company and calling on people to come together and let's help organizations get sustainable.
So
go on, Karl.
What's the date of the event that you're going to have?
It's the 5th of June, and it's at 8 o'clock UK time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will note that out. So remember that, guys. Put it in your calendar. 5th of June, 8 p.m. That's on Meetup, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Back in the old group we started.
Under Access Agile.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing what your main, I know obviously you do lots of other things, but you're doing the one thing that everybody knows about you, which is bringing people together. And I think it's absolutely amazing that you're doing it again. But are we going to get another Agile20Reflect Access Agile? Yeah.
And here, and I want you guys part of it as well. I know you don't have to do as much as you did last time, right?
Because my wife would like to see me at some point.
Yeah.
The marketing, well, I think we've expertised the marketing side, so we could probably take that bit on from Agile World.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fifth anniversary, have a little bit more time than we gave ourselves last time.
We're learning from our lessons. We're pivoting. We're retrospecting. I mean, are we going to do another big maybe retrospect, actions, and evolve?
One thing, when I was talking to Bob Gallen about this and some of the others, and I think this comes back to the sustainability stuff. I think we need to look forward now and to see because 2 things I think are going to happen. One is agility is going to be completely. That was Craig, sorry. Agility is going to be completely ubiquitous soon. So it's not going to be something that people add. Everyone's going to be doing it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And at which point, when it becomes completely common, what's I think the industry itself will morph into something else. I'm going at the sustainability side. So I would like one of the big themes is how can agility help the world? So, and I was talking to Heidi Musa over at Agile Alliance, and one of the things she was saying is it does feel like we're at a sea change point, and a lot of the original founders are kind of stepping back a little bit, and maybe it's time for what's next.
And that's actually probably the reason why me and Karl have started with the Agile framework, because we feel, open and honestly, things are getting a little bit stale. And I don't think it's just us. I think there is definitely a shake-up that needs done. There's definitely an involvement.
There's so many areas that were excluded from what we were doing 20 years ago to what we're doing now. And people have seen benefits with Agile, but they're still too narrowly focused. They're still too, this is how I increase my finances, or this is how I get access to markets quicker. Well, actually, this is how you run a doctor's surgery better. This is how you get critical care quicker, because you're better organized in all of your medications and your staff skills. Do you know, it's that's where the framework's aimed for what we're doing. Is it's not focused in a linear thought process around software. And to ignite the flame of agility, the manifesto is essential, but we're not building on the other frameworks. We've done something different.
Love it. I'm so looking forward to seeing that.
Well, the good thing about this is it's not something that, it's something that obviously we've been building, but actually we want to, leaning from you, Scott, is we're building a community here. So anyone that gets involved, anyone has an idea, anyone that feels that change needs to be made, their name goes on it.
So maybe we should also talk about ESG, because I keep getting asked about ESG as well. And I helped redesign a 3 Degrees network back in the noughties, which was an organization focused on getting corporations to reduce their carbon emissions, and how 3 degrees of change can have a massive impact across the world. So I think that, you know, if you'd like to collaborate on some of the framework as well, that would be really good to get even to get your challenge in place would be fabulous, you know, because we started with a version and we're now like on version 36 from that, and that's changed in the month of May, because I keep on getting peer review, because I'm doing this in a way that's reflective of a wider knowledge base than a few small people. We want to have perspectives from many people, from many experiences of Agile.
All right, you've got my axe, as they say.
Hopefully we can get much. So what else is coming for being beyond and better? Have you got?
We did a launch in London last week. We got our first interested client, so that was quite exciting, because it was a bit of a test and learn. So and one of the things that we're trying to do is look at agility, but also mixing complexity, because we're in a more and more complex world all the time.
Yeah.
And also a lot of things I think we do well in agility, especially at enterprise level, can be pulling people together. And I think post-lockdown, pulling people together who have maybe never had that much connection, because when they joined, everything was just a bit spread out, or they live at distance of that. So actually looking at that, but then opening it up to ideate around about what could we really do to reduce carbon? What could we really do to, you know, I think the good example there is female coders. Let's take female coders, right? There's always initiatives to get female coders in, but then they don't feel like they belong. So Sath and I just went down to Lean Agile London, did a talk on belonging. And belonging is like more than a sense of you're working there, or you're turning up, or you're doing stuff. Yeah. It's the fact that you're connected with the vision, but you also feel like you're part of the team. Do we, you know, and we've got work practices that suit. Yeah. So can you go and pick up the kids? Can you go and do things? Yeah. Do you have to do you have to take a break in your career because you can't do that? Now, all this stuff's been talked about for years and years, and now's a pivot time to do it. And on the ESG, Karl, I think it's the opportunity to open up the windows, look at the statistics, stack and rank people as well, and call people out if you're at the bottom of the pack.
Yeah. I think but the cultural behaviors is really interesting, because I've worked in a really big corporation, and all of that was in place, and it was built into the career pathway of female executives to allow them to have career breaks for children. And then I went to work in a much smaller organization, and you were basically hounded out of the place if you had anything other than the standard set of behaviors.
Yeah.
And, we are supposed to be evolving as humans. So the hope is that as more and more people accept this as the norm, then other behaviors is just seen as aberrant. So
yeah, and I think that's the culture. We're at that culture point. I think yeah, definitely. And maybe it's because I've reached a stage now where I'm 54 and I'm focusing on like heading towards death. I want to make the world a bit better before I go.
Oh, Scott! I mean, you can. You're nowhere near it.
Honestly, my best friend Martin died, 3 years ago, and we were identical. So every day is a borrowed day. Every day is a borrowed day.
Every day is a blessing, I would say.
Yeah, or it's an opportunity to do better.
Yeah,
love it.
Constant retrospectives.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? We've missed having you on. We need to get you back on again. Maybe get you and your team back on to do more talks about this. This is absolutely amazing. We're definitely for promoters. If you haven't already scanned that QR code, get on there now and scan it. This is an amazing cause. It's an opportunity to make a change.
One story just to finish on. So Joanna and Sath, yeah. So we're heading out to XP Amsterdam to do a World Cafe on sustainability, and Joanna's talking about sustainability, and I've said, right, we're not flying. Sathpal looks at me and goes, "Are we taking the train?" I went, "Nope, we're taking the ferry." And he's like, 5 times more expensive, 5 times longer. And then Joanna's like, "Okay, I'm in for this." All right, and we're sharing a cabin, and she's going like, "Oh my God, I'm not sharing a cabin with you two." So we'll definitely we could maybe come on from Amsterdam so you can see how we all got on.
You know what? Actually, maybe that would be.
Why don't you video blog it?
Yeah.
There you go. Because then you could actually live upload, and if you send us copy, we'll put it up on our channel as this is what's happening as it's happening.
Cool, and then you can interview us afterwards as a panel discussion.
Yeah.
And are you still friends?
Yeah. Do the first video as this is the before, and then we get a video of the after.
Well, you just look like so sharp before, and then afterwards you look like you've been through a war zone.
Yeah, Joanna's point was right. Okay, I could do this. I can take my earplugs and my nose plug.
Good to know what opinion she has of you in advance.
No, I'm definitely not staying in a room with you if you need nose plugs. Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's always a pleasure, Scott. We need to see you more often. And yeah, we need to arrange another Edinburgh. Well, I need to arrange another Edinburgh trip.
Yeah, you do. She keeps on promising, but
I know.
Until she saw you, she didn't say anything about it for a while. So I'm going to just head off, shall I?
Yeah, Karl, you're just the added bonus. Oh, well, thank you ever so much. It's been amazing, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.